When a magician pulls off an incredible illusion, right? There is like the setup, the performance, and then the prestige.
Right, the moment they finally bring the vanished thing back.
Exactly. But what if the vanished thing was a person? And what if they never brought themselves back, but just left clues out in the open for us to find?
It basically becomes this historical escape room built to last for centuries.
Yeah, and welcome to today's deep dive, where we are looking into exactly that. Our mission today is unpacking A. Phoenix's staggering theory that the famous philosopher Francis Bacon didn't actually die in
He
1626.
supposedly pulled off history's ultimate fake-out.
Right. So we are pulling from Phoenix's essays and this mathematical framework called the Sonnets Pyramid to show you how he might have done it.
So, the history books tell us Bacon died on April 9, 1626. The official story is he caught a cold while stuffing a hen with snow to, test freezing techniques.
I mean, that already sounds like a bizarre excuse someone makes up on the spot, like to cover their tracks.
Oh, totally. And according to A. Phoenix, it was completely fabricated. The theory argues that Bacon was terrified of political retribution from King Charles, so he orchestrated a hoax with the help of the Rosicrucian Brotherhood.
Which was essentially a secret society of esoteric thinkers and mystics.
Exactly. They allegedly put Bacon into a deep sleep using opium, smuggled his body out of the area, and then later revived him with carefully measured doses of nightshade.
Wow. And if you are listening to this and wondering why a brilliant philosopher would risk a literal fatal overdose just to slip away, you have to look at the timing. He chose to, quote unquote, die on Easter Sunday. I mean, that is an incredible theatrical flex.
He really is.
Yeah.
Bacon's inner circle actually left records noting he died in the early morning of the day celebrated for the Savior's resurrection.
Which is very specific wording.
Very. Because to the initiated, this wasn't a physical death at all. Bacon was dying to the profane, public world so he could secretly rise again in obscurity and just continue his work undisturbed.
Okay, but here's where I have to push back a little bit. I actually looked at the modern calendar, and April 9 is a Thursday. So, how does a Thursday logically tie into an Easter Sunday resurrection narrative? Because to me, that feels like a pretty massive hole in the plot.
Well, to understand that, you really have to look at the calendar chaos of the 17th century. Back then, half of Europe was still using the old Julian calendar, and the other half had switched to the new Gregorian calendar.
Oh, right. So everything was basically out of sync.
Completely. That meant Easter, which is a holiday based on lunar cycles anyway, was just wandering all over the place. People were literally celebrating it on completely different days depending on where they lived.
Okay, so instead of trying to catch a moving train with those wandering church dates, Bacon just built his own train tracks.
Precisely. He anchored his resurrection in something immutable, which is literary mathematics. He basically encoded his timeline into the structural math of a literary cipher known as the Sonnets Pyramid.
Wait, walk me through how that actually works. How do we get from a calendar date to a secret code?
So if you count the days from the start of the year, in Bacon's specific structural calendar, April 9 hits exactly on day 99.
Okay, day 99.
Right. And Bacon loved using numerical ciphers. In this system, he mapped the days of the year directly to his published works. So day 99 lands squarely on the 42nd sonnet in his sequence.
Wait, so if day 99 leads us directly to Sonnet 42, what is actually in that specific poem?
Well, that is the ultimate aha moment. Sonnet 42 contains vivid, unmistakable crucifixion imagery. It specifically uses the exact phrase, "Lay on me this cross."
Oh, wow. Wait, really? So he didn't even need the literal calendar to say it was Easter.
No, he didn't. He built the Easter symbolism directly into the math of the poetry itself. It mathematically ties the modern Thursday date of April 9 right back to the resurrection theme of his feigned death.
That is wild. So what does this all mean for us? I mean, it means Bacon's death wasn't just a tragic, accidental end in the snow.
No, not at all. It was a meticulously timed masterpiece. It married calendar quirks, religious symbolism, and hidden poetic ciphers all into one event. To Bacon, these symbols were basically just as powerful as reality.
That shows an unparalleled level of foresight, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. He engineered a puzzle that would survive, locked away in verse and numbers, until someone finally figured out how to read his map.
It really leaves you with a lingering thought. If a 17th century philosopher could successfully encode his own fake death and resurrection into the mathematical structure of a sonnet sequence, what other shocking historical truths are hiding in plain sight within the classic poetry you read every day?
That is the real question.
Exactly. Are we all just walking through a literary escape room we haven't figured out yet? Definitely something to think about.